welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my craft table. Today I am going to be using the products in the Papercraft Society, and this is box number 36. It's designed by the lovely Sasha Reade that you can see here, and she is a designer for Craft Stash. Inside the magazine we get a look at all the products that we get in the kit, and I have a unboxing. I have a link to that down below in the description if you haven't seen it. This is Sasha, and she has a quick catch up here in the booklet, as well as lots of other designs and card making ideas in here for you. The first card that I'm going to make using this kit with you today is going to be a sprung framed card. It'll be a 5x7 card, and I know that Sam from Mixed Up Crafts and Jennifer Maguire, they have done similar, as well as many other crafters. So this is my version using these products. So I hope you enjoy my tutorial. Sit back and relax and enjoy, or maybe you'll like to craft along with me. I'll give you all the measurements to the things you'll need at the beginning, and then if you like you can get them ready and craft with me. So let's go ahead now and make our card. So our card base is a 5x7 card base, and for this you'll need a piece of 10x7 scored at 5, and that'll give you a 5x7 card base, and we'll burnish the edge of that really well. I also have another piece here, and this measures 8x7. We're going to score this a couple of times, and then we're going to do some die cutting onto that. So the scoring that we need to make, and I'll just get my scoring tool out. We need to score at a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to make sure my paper is right up into the edge. So we'll score at a 1/2 inch. One inch, 1.5. Then we need to score at 6.5, 7, and 7.5. And with these then we'll do like concertina folds with them. So I want the outside to be a mountain fold. Then the next one will be a valley fold. And it's just as easy to go this way. And then the next one will be a mountain fold. So we have a mountain, a valley, a mountain. We want to do the same again, a mountain, a valley, a mountain with this side as well. So I'll do that quickly now. So these two tabs are going to sit on our card front. We'll add some liquid glue to them. We'll sit them on the front of our card base, and that will then give us our pop-up or our sprung. It gives a spring to the front of our card. So onto this then I will die cut out an opening. If you have got some dies that will die cut out an even opening, you can do that. You can use a shaped die to die cut out, like an arch. You could use a window die. You could use your trimmer and just cut your opening out using your trimmer or your craft knife. What I'm going to use for mine is I'm going to use some dies I have in my stash. These are the Creative Nestables, and I'm going to use a die to die cut out an oval in mine. That's just to make it easy, but you can use, like I said, whatever you have in your stash. So once we have that done, then I have a piece of pattern paper that came in the kit, and this piece measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and that's going to sit here like this. So we'll see this through the opening of our frame. I've also got some pieces for the inside that I'm going to layer up. I've got a piece in a purple cardstock from my stash. It's very similar, you can see, in colour to the pattern paper. This piece measures 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I have a white piece then that measures 4.5 by 6.5. Onto this I can stamp my sentiment inside. I've also taken a piece again of my purple cardstock. It measures the same size as my purple cardstock here. It measures 4 3/4 by, let me just check, 1 1/4. And then I have a piece of pattern paper, and this measures 4.5 by 1 inch, and that'll sit on there like so, and that will then sit across like this inside, and it just brings the pattern paper from the outside to the inside. Next then I have some vellum. We got vellum in the kit. This piece measures 5 inches by 2.5, and this one measures 5 inches by 3. I'm going to cut like snowdrifts into this, just give it a kind of a rolling hill shape on both of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit them then in our opening. So they'll both go behind. This one will sit in here like so, behind our oval. So rather than using a white cardstock or a glittering cardstock, I'm going with the vellum. This second piece then I'm going to sit in here like so. So we'll have layers when we look through our opening. And I'm going to cut those freehand when I get to it. Next, we got some dies in our kit, and you can see them here. These 4 snowflake dies are layering dies. So when you actually use them, you can use them individually. So what I've done is I've numbered all mine. You can see on the back here, this is number 1, number 3, number 2, and then this one would be number 4. So when you die cut these out, and I've done this already, it die cuts out the snowflake in its size, but it does them, let's see, so I've got to make sure now I have this the right way. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this one is number 3, and this one is number 4. So this is how the 4 dies look, and I hope you can see them all right there. And what I did to number them is I took a sharp tool and I just scraped number 4 into it, and then I put top on that, so just so that I'll know that all 4 of them, this is the top piece, so this goes on the top, and then this one is the bottom piece. Should be a bottom there. So I've cut them out in silver. 2 of them are in the silver glitter cardstock we got in the kit, and then 2 of them are in white cardstock. So you could just have 1 star like this and it's beautiful, or like this, or like this, or like this. But when you take them all and layer them up, you get a whole different look with them, and it's absolutely beautiful. Just like so. And I know on the video you won't see as much as what you can in real life, but all those 4 layers come through, and it's just, it really is stunning. So you could do this if you die cut each of these layers out twice. You could actually have them, this is the front, and then flip it over and have it at the back. You could put a string through it and have it as an ornament on your Christmas tree. It's really, really beautiful because you can see right through down to the first layer that's down underneath here. You can see that right through, and I know the camera doesn't do it justice. I normally have another light on, but the bulb is going, so it's flickering, and that's why my table isn't as bright as it normally is. But it really is stunning dies when you add them together. So this is going to be the focal point of my card. When you look through the oval opening in the front of our card, we'll have our pattern paper behind it, and this card will then sit on this star will sit on the front. So that's the 4 large snowflake dies that we got. They can each be used individually, or you can layer them all up to make a stunning star. I have die cut out using the word snow that came in the set as well, and I've die cut that out in the purple cardstock that I'm using. I stuck that down onto a piece of card and then I fussy cut around it. Now you can take the die itself, put that on a piece of white cardstock like so. You can draw around it with a pencil and then cut along the lines, and it will give you the same, it'll give you a shadow outline as well. You can do that, but I find sometimes it's just as easy. Die cut out your word, stick it on a piece of cardstock, and then fussy cut around it to get a shadow effect, and I love that. So I want to have that on my pattern paper. And then I want to have snow is falling, because in the stamp set that we get, we have all these fab words, and I've used the die for snow and is falling from the stamp set. So you can stamp it out and cut it out and put that down, or you can stamp it out and fussy cut around it like I've done here, and you'll have snow is falling. And you could layer them over the snowflake if you want, but I want to leave the snowflake clear. I don't want to go putting anything on top of that. So I'm going to have snow is falling for my sentiment on the outside of my card, and then I'm going to have dreaming of a white Christmas on the inside of my card. And I will also embellish the inside using some of the snowflakes. So that's all the pieces that we need. It's now a matter of assembling our card, and let's do that next. So now I have my prop-up frame part here, and I have my die that I'm going to use. I want to make sure that I leave at least a ½ inch here, so when these are folded in underneath, you won't actually see the edge under the frame. So I've made sure that this comes in a little bit more than a ½ inch. So I can die cut up then as high or as low as I want. I'd probably kind of put it somewhere about 2/3 of the way up. So once I'm happy that I have it centered in our panel between our 2 score lines, I can then press that down, bring it to my die cutting machine and die cut out my oval. So now you can see I have die cut out my oval, and I did use my Big Shot Plus in order to die cut this out. And I'll keep my little panel because I can use this again in a different project. So now, because it went through my die cutting machine, my score lines there need to be re-burnished, so I'll do that next. So before I re-burnish those score lines, I'm actually going to put some double-sided tape on the outside tabs, one on the left and one on the right. Now you can use liquid glue if you like. I'm just using double-sided tape because I figured it'd be easier, and it was on my desk, so that's really the reason why I went with that. So once I have the tape on both sides, I can then burnish the score lines. My little snowdrifts here. My piece of vellum will sit in there, so I want to have this so it's like a snowdrift shape. So I'm just going to use my scissors to cut that down. So I'm just going to do just like that, so it looks like a little hill or a snowdrift there. And then I'm going to do another one for behind that with this piece. And you can see here I'm just freehand cutting those little hills. That looks better. So now we'll pop those little extra pieces out of the way. So I have my 2 little pieces here, And then we have our piece of pattern paper and our card base. So I'm going to stick down my pattern paper to my card base first. I recommend that you glue the tabs down for our die cut piece first, then add glue to the pattern plate paper and slide that in. It'll cover the tabs either side. Now I can stick down my snow hills, and to do that I'm going to use some of my quick grab glue to stick the vellum on, and this won't be seen behind, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm using a little of my quick grab glue to glue this piece down, and it fits in nicely, but I found it needed a little sliver off the right hand side, and that's why I gave you the measurements of 4 7/8. The second piece then I can slide in once I have this die cut frame down in place. Now you can see here I'm taking off the release paper from the double-sided tape along that tab, and once I have that stuck down, you can see there it covers up some of the pattern paper, so that's why I reckon it would be better to wait. You can then slide the pattern paper down behind this, add your liquid glue to it, slide it down, and then press it into place. And I think it would give a better look. If I was doing it again, I would do it that way. But I do find that this looks perfectly fine. You know, I think it does look great. But the perfectionist in me would like the tabs covered up. So now we just need to add in our second piece of vellum. And again, what I'll do is add some liquid glue around the right side, the bottom and the left side, and then pop that into place. Now again, this piece will need a sliver taken off it. It just sits in better. There isn't any buckling if you do that. So again, you can cut it to 5 inches in width, but I found the 4 7/8 looks better and slides in easier. So it's a matter now of assembling our snowflake, and I'm just going to add some glue to the middle of each snowflake as I layer it up. I find that way then we'll have a little bit of dimension, because the outside spokes of the snowflake, is that what you call them? Do you call them spokes? I don't know. Arms, spokes, but they'll be free, so they will actually lift up. And I'm looking at it here now in front of me, and it just looks lovely done this way. I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to add liquid adhesive now to the whole of the back and pop that into place. Now we can have it pointed upwards like so. I think I like that idea. Now I want to make sure that I can see what I'm doing, because I don't want to put my star in and then find it's up too high or down too low. I want it to, you know, look well when I'm looking at it on the mantelpiece, and I like it in that position there. So I'll add a little bit of pressure to the back of it, and then we'll allow these little pieces to come up. And I love this because we'll have dimension on the front of our card, but it'll go into the envelope flat. The only thing with more dimension probably is our star, you know. So now we have our snow is falling, and we can have that up here, and then we can have is falling here. I was thinking of putting it there, or we can have it there. No, I like it up there. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to stick those down, and I'm going to just add glue to this. So I'll add a little bit of my quick grab glue to this part, and I want it sitting over the frame. So I'll just give it I think there, like that. Just make sure that it's straight. Yeah. And then the is falling, and I'll add a little bit of liquid glue behind this onto the vellum. Lovely. And now we got some sequins in our kit as well. So I'll just open them. They come in an envelope. So I'll just open them up and I'll get a little bowl to drop some of them into. And I'll pop some of the little sequins in there. Again, I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer liquid adhesive to stick these little plastic snowflakes down in place. And they do stick down well. I would have used hot glue if my hot glue gun was on. That would have given them a little bit of dimension, or you could use a little square of foam tape behind them either. I'm going to stamp the white panel now for inside the card, and I've used the Dreaming of a White and Christmas stamps. I've used my Versafine Clair Monarch ink, and I'm going to now use the same ink with the cluster of 3 snowflakes together, but I'm stamping off so that I'll get a lighter color of ink for these snowflakes, and that way I think it brings all the colors together. I'll have my strip then to go along the bottom, so I won't put any of the snowflakes stamped down there. I'm going to add my panel here using my Collal glue to my matte layer, and then I can add my pattern paper strip then on top of that. And then once I have that done, I can then glue that to the inside, and again I'll use the Collal for that. Once I have that inside, then I'm going to embellish with the little plastic snowflakes we got, because there's no dimension to them at all, and it brings again a little bit of the front of the card to the inside of the card. And you know, this would nearly do this would nearly do as a card front in itself if you put a couple of the snowflakes that we did, the big snowflake that we did at the front, if you put one of them underneath the Christmas, I think that would make a fine card front. I don't know about you, but you know, there's an idea. Anyway, I'm going to finish up using a little bit of my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, and I'm going to put that on the word snow and just along the top of the snowdrift. So our pop-up frame card is complete using the Papercraft Society Box 36 products designed by Sasha Reade, and I have to say I really like this card. I think it's a very soft and really pretty Christmas card. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and if you did, you might consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, and if not, you might click on the bell icon down below so you'll be notified next time I post a new video. I'll leave you now with some images of the card that we've made. I'd like to again say thank you for joining me, and until the next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now.